Welcome in to 7 Financial Blind Spots. My name's Steve Siddall. We are going through the 7 financial blind spots. This time we're going to talk about mortgages. And here to do that, obviously, Tatiana Bunich and her son Sammy in Financial One Wealth, South Florida, Miami area. And you're local. Your people can come, and when they come in, they will see you. They'll talk to you.
Yes.
You're real people.
We're real people.
Yes.
We're not just on a screen.
See, I love that.
And we're better looking in person, too.
Oh, good.
So there's a benefit.
Good to know. Let's talk about mortgages. I mean, that's, especially as we get closer to retirement, I mean, how important is it to go into retirement mortgage free? I mean, I remember the days, you'd see the old movies and they burn the mortgage, right? That was like a big deal.
Going into retirement debt free, no matter what kind of debt it is obviously the ideal. But it's not always possible. A lot of people do have mortgages into retirement. And some people even decide to upgrade their home. They move, they go to a different state, so they'll sell one home, they'll put a mortgage on the new home because the new home's more than their other home. So, and then also in retirement, we have a lot of second and third marriages.
Oh, sure.
And the new spouses want a new home. So a lot of times we're starting new homes with new mortgages. It's not ideal, but it's part of the plan. If that's what we have to work with, that's what we have to work with, and we'll create income for that, assuming there's assets to do that with. Obviously, the ideal is to be debt-free in retirement.
Sure.
That's always debt-free, period. Doesn't matter in retirement or not.
Exactly.
Debt-free is the best, right?
Right, of course. And, well, when we talk about a mortgage, interest rates obviously come up. And, prior to COVID, people were doing 2.5%, 3%. Now we're up in the 6s and 7s.
Yes.
Come down a little bit, but still, how do we adjust for that in terms of
Huge difference. And that's part of the problem with buying new homes now. A lot of the folks retiring, they have either paid off mortgages or mortgages that are, 2.5%, 3%. And when they're looking to buy a new home, they're dealing with 6% and 7% mortgages. It's a huge difference. You could buy a lot less home for the same amount of income.
Right.
We had a couple actually that came into our office over the summer, and they had it was a second marriage. They had purchased a new, very expensive home with a very expensive interest rate on it, and they were looking for ways on how they could stay in this house in retirement. Because right now, a large part of his paycheck is going towards that. If he were to retire, they can't afford the house. Now, unfortunately, there's not always things that if someone made a decision and they can't afford it, unfortunately, there's not always something we can do. But we can come up with a game plan to help you figure out another way that you can live in a way that you'd like to live.
Okay. Cool. And again, especially when we're talking about mortgage and interest rates and you mentioned this earlier, Sammy, that sometimes it doesn't make sense to downsize because you got to go buy a bigger,
You're
different house.
You're going to be paying more somewhere else. So you have a beautiful house. You may have lived in it for a long time. It may be too big for yourselves, but is that the worst problem in the world to have a house too big?
Right.
Right?
Yeah, right, exactly. And again, so the mortgage interest deduction, is it as big a deal as it once was?
Not at all.
Not at all.
So we deal with over 500 people during tax season, February, March, and April. Everyone's coming in with their mortgage interest, with their charity, with their medical bills.
Yeah.
90% of the people are not itemizing anymore.
Right.
So all those they're counting up their charities can equal $1,500, their medical, maybe another $1,500, mortgage interest, a couple $1,000s there. They're nowhere near to the itemization part. So it's not really a benefit anymore. Actually, a couple came in, they said, we think we're going to buy a house and get a mortgage because we want the deduction. And I said, that's a nice idea, guys, but unfortunately, you're still going to be very far off. So buy the house because you want to buy the house.
Right.
Go ahead and buy it, but don't do it for the sole purpose of getting that mortgage interest deduction because it's not going to make a dime's worth of a difference.
Sure. All right. Wow, great insight. Thank you,
Yeah.
Sammy. We're going to have to wrap it up on the mortgages as the 7 financial blind spots continue. When we continue, we're going to put it off for a while. It's called procrastination. This is a good one. You don't want to miss it.